Why is it that when I go to cook something, everybody has their own opinion about everything? In my mother's cookbook that I rescued from her house one day, it gives me lots of options for green beans. Green bean almond, snap green beans with basil, green beans with cheese. How do you decide? And who says they're right? And where do they come up with all these recipes? They have all these books to tell me what to think, how to feel, what to do in any given situation. Who's to say they're right? And once I have the knowledge, what do I do with it? The scripture today talks about this in 1 Corinthians chapter 8. It tells us in verse 3, "But the man who loves God is known by God. The man who thinks he knows something does not yet know as he ought to know." What does that mean? My friend tells me that green beans are a commodity. Really, you can eat them right out of the can this way. And really, if you read the instructions or the directions or even what's in the can of green beans, it really just tells you it's green beans, water, and a little bit of sodium. Not much else. Now that's knowledge. Now, what do I do with it? Well, what my plan to do with these green beans is to take this can and several other cans down to the local food bank so other people can share in these green beans and the other things I bring. In my town, there's lots of places to be able to share what we have. There's food banks and clothes banks and lots of different places to be able to provide people shelter and food, money, jobs, even clothes. But if we have the knowledge on how to attain those things for ourselves and we don't share it with anybody else, that's what the scripture's talking about. Because knowledge puffs us up, makes us think we're smart. But really, if we don't share it with someone, then we're no better than one of those fish in the tank. I really have a problem with people telling me what to think, how to think, when to think. I kind of feel like one of those fish in the fishbowl. You know, just swimming around like they're telling me to do with nothing else on the agenda. But once I'm provided with knowledge and the way to be able to share, then I become a servant. The first time I ever went to our local food bank, I was a novice. I mean, I knew how to cook for myself and for my family, but I had no idea how to provide for other people. I mean, I was smart, I had knowledge, I knew I had to wear gloves, I knew I had to put on an apron, but more than that, I really didn't know how to cook for those people. And I say those people, I'm talking about the people who would come. I mean, at my house, I kind of set it out on the counter, put a few spoons in the bowls, a plate and forks on the counter, and everybody digs in. But at the food place, at the homeless shelter, or at places like that, there was rules. So I watched people as they did it. And then, sure enough, when I got the knowledge, I was able to do it. Now, don't get confused with knowledge. I mean, when we have lack of knowledge, the scripture tells us that we're perishing. But here's the difference. If I don't know how to be a servant, then I'm really just receiving. This week we're talking about gratitude on those people that serve us and the ways we can serve other people. I like to go to a camp every once in a while, about twice a year, where there's a bunch of women, and I like to fellowship with them. And one thing I like about them is when all of a sudden people just come out of nowhere that I don't even know, and they have smiles on their faces, and they set down food at your table. And then, lo and behold, before you go to bed at night, somehow or another your bed is made. And there's always clean towels in the ladies' room, or there's something on your pillow, or there's something at your placemat. There's always that gift of agape. Gratitude as a servant. Another way you can have gratitude while you're a servant is to find a place to mentor someone. I've had a friend for many, many years who just recently went to be with the Lord. His name was Bill, and he and I were very close friends. And everywhere I preached, he would show up. He would encourage me in my journey. Close to the time when Bill went to be with the Lord, he encouraged me again never to lose my faith. I was going through a tough time, and it was hard for me to find a gratitude moment in my life. I'd become bitter, and there was a time where he said, you just need to be grateful. Be grateful. I had the knowledge on how to serve others. I just didn't feel like I was serving God in the way I was serving. So what did I do? I rolled up my sleeve and I found a new way to serve. I want you to think about just for a moment the last time that you were at a place where you felt really welcomed and loved. It may have been your own parents' house or a sibling's house, or it may have been church. Wherever it was, remember that feeling in your heart, how you received that love of Christ from someone else. Now that you have that knowledge, now it's time to go out there and get it. Grab a can of green beans. It may just be to you and me green beans, water, and a little bit of sodium. But to other people, it's really more than just physical food. It's encouraging them in their daily life. Find a way to be a servant. You will be so grateful that you did.